And good morning, everyone. My name is Chantel Smith. I serve as the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Inclusive Communities within the Honors College here at the University of Maryland. Joining me for this webinar, we have Dr. Jenny Lang, who's the Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment within the Honors College. And also we have a couple of our current students who will be available to answer your questions as well at the end of this webinar, and I'll have them introduce themselves at that time. Right now, we're going to go through a formal presentation, shouldn't be longer than about 15 minutes, and then we'll be available to answer any questions that you have up until about 1 p.m. Please make sure if you have any questions that you're putting them in the Q&A area of this webinar, which should be, you should see the option at the bottom of your screen if you're looking on a computer or in your phone. Do not put your questions in the chat. Put them in the Q&A area so we can follow them. In the Q&A area, there's also an option for you to upvote questions. So if another attendee asks a question that you also want to know, you can actually upvote it, and we see it on our end as a question. It kind of pushes it up in the queue for the questions that need to be answered. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So for those who are not entirely sure what the Honors College is, the Honors College at the University of Maryland is an opportunity for invited students to join a community that has faculty, staff, and other students dedicated to diversity, inclusivity, responsibility, and a sense of engagement within our world. Our students who are invited will join one of our 8 living learning programs, which will provide each student a community and opportunities to explore a focused curriculum as they pursue their honor citation. Most courses for the honor citation will satisfy general education requirements. So the courses that your students are taking in honors will actually help them as they work towards earning their degree. You can look at the Honors College as an enhancement to your education, nothing additional. It's usually just allowing you to have a different option of classes to take in order to fulfill some of your students' graduation requirements with a co-curricular component included. So our goal with this is to foster learning inside and outside of the classroom and to create a supportive, close-knit community for all of our students. So our 8 living learning programs offer students a wide range of concepts and ideas to explore that include cybersecurity, design, research, the humanities, business, globalization, and the life sciences. And students of all majors are welcomed within the Honors College and into any of those living learning programs. So most students will earn their honor citation, which is the curriculum that is assigned to whichever program they're in. They'll usually earn that within the first 2 years at UMD, but will remain members of the Honors College throughout their whole 4 years, and they can still take part of social events that we host, professional development events, and other research, internship, and study abroad opportunities.
So as Chantel mentioned, we have 8 unique living learning programs, and all students who are invited to the Honors College will be in one of these 8 programs. Each one has a different curriculum, an area of focus, or approach which students will pursue to earn their honor citation. After the admissions decisions were released, students have the opportunity to identify which of the living learning programs they prefer through a preferencing form. Hopefully, most of your students submitted their form back in February and already have this information. If not, the form students can still submit the form through April 14th, so next Monday. So if your student doesn't know which living learning program they're in, please encourage them to submit that form no later than next Monday. And then we'll make sure that students find out which program they're in before they have to confirm their decision to enroll at the University of Maryland. So a little bit about each of the programs. First, the Advanced Cybersecurity Experience for Students, or ACES program, develops successful, forward-thinking cyber leaders who create a safer world by embracing both the technical and non-technical aspects of cybersecurity. Design, Cultures, and Creativity explores the roles and impact of design in our societies and creative practices in ways that cut across STEM and non-STEM disciplines. These students are theorists and thinkers who investigate the digital age through designing, analyzing, and creating. Gemstone is our only 4-year program, and it's a unique, multidisciplinary 4-year research program for honor students of all majors who are interested in leadership, teamwork, and social impact. Students will work in teams of 8 to 12, beginning at the end of their freshman year and then continuing all the way through their senior year on a research project with the guidance of a dedicated faculty mentor. Honors Global Challenges and Solutions, or HGLO, is one of our two newest programs. The new curriculum is focused on using data science to analyze and consider global challenges. Students will have unique opportunities through the Global Fellows program with access to internships located in the DC area, which will satisfy the curriculum requirements. Honors Humanities is our signature program for exploring the arts and humanities in all their creative, social, and global dimensions, empowering students to find their voices in imagining their future and in changing the world. Integrated Life Sciences offers unparalleled, accelerated, and innovative courses and research opportunities in all areas of the life sciences, as well as service learning experiences that are designed to launch the careers of outstanding students of all majors, exploring all aspects of life sciences. Interdisciplinary Business Honors offer students a big picture view of business in relation to multiple fields, life callings, and social issues, and challenges students to imagine the future of work and business, and again is open to all majors. And finally, University Honors, our oldest, largest, and freshly reimagined and relaunched program with an exciting new curriculum and brand new residence halls and program space in the middle of campus, is a program which is not defined by a specific subject, but rather the program draws on distinguished faculty from across campus to teach fascinating courses on big questions and ideas from different disciplinary perspectives, both STEM and non-STEM. Students will pursue their creativity, their curiosity wherever it leads, as they also encounter multiple perspectives of thinking. Each of these 8 programs is available to students of any major. So students can choose, or they may be in a living learning program that is related to their major if they really want to go more in depth in their chosen field of study, or they might want to be in a program that's the complete opposite of their major, which gives them an opportunity to really broaden their experience during their time here.
So for our honor students, what exactly are the benefits of being a part of our community? So one of those benefits is that our students take small discussion-based courses, many of which are going to be smaller than the regular courses that are offered to all UMD students. Another thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, our students typically will earn an honor citation within their first 2 years, and that is notated on their transcript when they graduate. One of our programs, as Jenny mentioned, Gemstone, is a 4-year research-based program, so the students in that program will earn their citation at the end of those 4 years. Also, being a part of such a small community, our students are able to connect more authentically with their fellow honor students and with the faculty and staff that run the programs. We also offer study abroad, internship, and research opportunities both on and off campus. And 9 times out of 10, our students are participating fully in the life of the university, being members of many departments and student groups across campus, so they are not siloed at all away from anyone else. And we also offer a number of social events within our community to help our students connect with each other, both within their particular living learning program and then also with the Honors College community as a whole. And one of our most popular events, which I'm looking forward to the next one in a few weeks, is our ice cream social, which actually features Maryland Dairy ice cream.
Okay, so here on the screen, you can see some of the places where our students have participated in internships. Our location does give students access to many opportunities for internships in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. region. And each of our programs will bring in experts in the field of study to meet with their students as well. So for example, the Advanced Cybersecurity Experience, or ACES program, has a career mentor component where experts from organizations such as the NSA will come in and talk to the students in the program about their career, how they got there, and they can offer students guidance on their careers. And internships are available both during the school year and over the summer, and both on or off campus opportunities.
University of Maryland is considered a Research 1 institution, which basically means we typically have access to more grants, more labs, more faculty, and thus more opportunities for our undergrad students to get involved. And since, like I mentioned earlier, we offer smaller class sizes, actually gives our students more access to those faculty, to the faculty and to those faculty labs. So it gives them more opportunities to kind of get involved with that. Also, as mentioned before, our research opportunities are available both on and off campus. And because of our prime geographical location, our students have easy access to different research opportunities in the area to include Johns Hopkins, and the National Institutes of Health. Oops.
All right, and a lot of students are interested in study abroad, which is fantastic. I'm just going to preface that by saying some of our students are in majors that are going to have heavy course loads, so it might, depending on the student's major and their curriculum, it might make studying abroad for an entire semester challenging. But there are also winter, spring break, and summer study abroad programs, and certainly there are many students who participate in a full semester study abroad program as well. Some of our living learning programs and honors do offer a study abroad option for students specifically in their program, so this might be a great option as well. And there are also numerous opportunities throughout campus for all students, including our honor students. But some examples of the LLP programs, study abroad options that are available to our students. University Honors offers a summer study abroad in Oxford. Through the University Honors Program. IBH and ILS offer a winter term option. So interdisciplinary business honors program went to France last January and Italy this past January. And ILS does a winter term option in England every couple of years. And HGLO, the Honors Global Challenges and Solutions program, just our past spring break last month, middle of March, they took a group of students to Panama and spent a week in Panama. And I believe the plan is to make that an annual event for HGLO students. Actually, that one is open to students also not in HGLO. So it's open to HGLO students and additionally other students. So that's another great option. So students who are interested in studying abroad for either a semester or a shorter period of time should talk to their advisor about the possibilities as early as possible during their time at the University of Maryland, and should also visit the study abroad office on campus. And I believe the study abroad office hosts a study abroad fair early on in every semester so that students can learn about the opportunities that are available to them.
So, in regards to your students getting involved on campus, the question is not if they can get involved, it's kind of what they're going to choose to get involved with. We have over 800 different clubs and organizations across campus. That's a lot. So there's plenty of options for your students to get involved and find a community for them. And if they're just so happens not to be the community they want here, they have the flexibility and opportunity to create their own. So I really do appreciate that about UMD. Within the Honors College, though, we have several different opportunities for our students to get engaged in leadership positions and stuff of that nature. I'll just highlight a couple. One is our Honors Ambassadors, which is a volunteer organization that consists of our current students who make themselves available to talk with prospective students and their families, like the students that we have here right now. These students help us in all of our recruiting events on campus and virtually. And also in each living learning program, there's a student advisory board, which serves as a connection between the students in the program and the faculty and staff who run the program. And these students organize and give input for social events and program-specific activities outside of the academic curriculum. And then we also have a student advisory board at the Honors College level that oversees the whole Honors College umbrella of programs. So there's multiple different ways for students to get involved within their program and at the Honors College level.
Okay, and once students are here on campus, there's a scholarship office, National Scholarships Office here on campus, and their purpose is to help connect our students with scholarships that will fit their goals and skills. Many of our Honors College students have been very successful in applying for and receiving these competitive national and international awards. So there's just a few examples of the awards and scholarships that our students in the Honors College have earned this past year, including some Goldwater Scholars, Churchill Scholars, Fulbright, critical language skills, lots of really great opportunities for our students that they are able to take a part of.
And here on this slide, you can just see some really quick stats from our Honors College students who graduated during the 2023 school year, which includes spring, summer, and winter graduate or December graduation. So 69% of our graduates had a job right after graduation, which is amazing. About 27% plan to attend graduate school just to continue their studies. And then we also had some students who decided to choose different opportunities. It could be volunteer opportunities to include stuff like AmeriCorps or Peace Corps. And then we also have some students that decide to opt to go join the military after graduation. So plenty of opportunities, and our students kind of can go either way. So very, very good for that.
And here are some of the examples of the types of graduate programs that our students attend. So those include med school, law school, veterinary medicine, library science, engineering, and anthropology. And the left column there is a sampling of the programs that our students are attending for their graduate degree programs. And then on the right column there, you see some places where some of our students work, and some specific examples of career placement include a systems developer and software developer engineer at Amazon, a financial analyst and program manager at Microsoft Corporation, and then we also have some classroom teachers in local school districts. So these are also a small sample of the many places that our students go after graduation.
Alrighty. So that's the end of our formal presentation. Just a few quick reminders. If your student submitted their program preference form by our best consideration date, which Jenny mentioned earlier, which was February 19th, they should have already received their living learning program placement. Any other students who submit after the best consideration deadline will have until April 15th to submit their form. I do want to note that at this point, for students who are submitting now, we do just give a disclaimer that we can't guarantee a placement for those students, but we will absolutely try to make certain that we can try to find a program for them to get into. If they do submit by the April 15th deadline, they should be notified by the end of April. And the plan for that is to make sure that your students have all the information that they need about the opportunities here at UMD, so that they can make the decision prior to the confirmation deadline, whether they want to make a home here or not. If your student has any questions in regards to that, if they submitted it or they don't know if they submitted it or anything like that, please have them email us at honorsadmissions@umd.edu. We'd rather them check in just to make sure than wait until it's too late for us to really do anything. Also, if your student plans to live on campus, please remember to have them submit their housing application along with their confirmation to attend UMD by May 1st. If your student is in integrated life sciences, interdisciplinary business honors, or our ACES program, they are required to submit the housing form, since those are 3 programs that we have that have a living requirement. Any other programs that we have, we do have residence halls for them, but they're not obligated to be there. So just make sure that your student submits all those things by that deadline. And if they have any questions, of course, they can reach out to us. And there's more information, like if you want to learn more about honors, outside of what we just said, you're more than welcome to check out our website at honors.umd.edu. There's plenty of videos and information there to check out on your own time. So now, without further ado, I am going to stop sharing, and then we'll have our students do quick introductions, and then we'll start answering your questions. At this time, if you have not done so already, please go ahead and start putting your questions in the Q&A area so we can start rolling through those. All right. All righty. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with Ariel.
Hey everyone, great to see you all here. My name is Ariel Abraham. I'm a sophomore here at UMD. I'm part of the Integrated Life Sciences honors program on campus. I'm a cell bio major with a data science minor, and I'm on the pre-medicine, pre-MD PhD track. So excited to answer all your questions.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I'm a senior government and politics major with a STEP minor and a pre-law minor. And yeah, any questions you guys have? Oh, I was in the DCC program. And any questions you might have, I'd be glad to answer and help.
Thank you, guys. All right, so jumping in, the first question I will pass to Jenny. Um, why are some programs 2 years and others, well, one other is 4? Um, that's one question. Let's answer
Yeah.
that one first.
Yeah. Great. So good question. Honestly, this comes because historically Gemstone was a standalone program. Gemstone celebrated their 25th anniversary a few years ago, and they were a standalone program. And the Honors College as a organization did not exist at the University of Maryland. So we had a few individual programs. Gemstone University Honors existed on its own, Honors Humanities existed on their own. And I think it was somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago, the Honors College umbrella organization was created, and those 3 programs were brought under the umbrella of the organization, and additional programs were created after that. So that is why Gemstone is different, because it is that is how it has historically been. It is something we continually look at, whether or not that continues to make the most sense. And right now, the curriculum is still a 4-year program. I cannot guarantee that it will be the same going forward for a long time, but it is something that we continue to consider. But that is the reason why Gemstone is 4 years and everything else is a 2-year program. And then there was a question about studying abroad. I don't have a specific answer for this, but my guess is it's a little easier to pursue a study abroad program through the University of Maryland. There's probably some protections there for the students if they're pursuing study abroad, doing it through the University of Maryland. The other thing I will say, the other thing I could think of is that the University of Maryland requires students to be continually registered. If they take a semester off, they have to take a leave of absence. And as an undergraduate, it's not something that undergraduate students do frequently. And when they do have a semester, a leave of absence, it is often due to a medical or family issue or something that they need to take time off for. So I'm not sure, honestly, what the process would be for a student to do study abroad, not through the University of Maryland. I would direct you towards the study abroad office for more specifics on that. They're the ones who I think would be better able to answer that question than we can. But those are my guesses as to the reason why.
Thank you. Next question I see is talking about residential life as an honor student. So we can answer the questions from a staff perspective, but first, I would love for the students who are actually living in the residence halls to kind of talk about their experience as an honor student.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the best things I think about the Honors College. You know, the Honors College itself, every program is a living learning program. So no matter which one you choose, you're always going to be, living and in the same classes as the people who are with you in that program. And I think that's a really special opportunity that, coming in, you don't really expect. My best friends and actually 2 of my roommates now, I live off campus now, are 2 people who lived right next door to me. I was in La Plata freshman year, and now we live together off campus. And the connections you make are really special. You wake up, you go to the dining hall together, you catch breakfast, and you run over to your first class that's honor specific. Um, so, regardless of what hall you're in and regardless of what honors program you're in, it's a really good way to, form those connections with the people around you and who have, similar interests and, you know, it gets you into all kinds of really, really fun activities together.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I was in DCC, so I was able to live in Prince Frederick Hall my first 2 years, and it was really nice to come onto campus my freshman year and already have like a group of people that I could go to. And it made like making friends so much easier. Same thing with me. I live with um, a friend that I made on my floor my first year, and we've been living together for the past 2 years. So it's a really nice way to meet people and build those relationships really early on.
Um, Thank you guys. All right, so this is okay. What research or internship opportunities are offered for pre-med students through the Honors College? Right.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the biggest reasons I really chose to come to Maryland, and one of the biggest reasons I chose ILS too. But the nice thing is that it's not really something that's, LLP specific. The Honors College does a really cool thing that it has a weekly listserv actually, so you get an email. And a lot of times those emails, you get one from your LLP, so your honors program, and one from the Honors College as a whole. And always on that, there's a ton of detailed information about all kinds of different, events or research events going on. A lot of research companies come to campus and do all kinds of events here to recruit basically on campus. There's a ton of different research labs. I personally work over in the Official Bioengineering Institute in a lab there. I've been working there since the beginning of my sophomore year, and that's been an amazing experience. I actually heard about that lab from a different ILSer to begin with, and was able to kind of make that connection come in. And that research goes beyond too. I'm part of an undergrad research program over at the School of Medicine in Baltimore. That's also something that I heard from ILS and applied, through something that came up on their email. So there's just so many different opportunities you can find to this honors college, and especially in this region, right? Like we have the whole research corridor, it's like 30 minutes away from us. We have Children's National down in DC. We have the School of Medicine another 30 minutes away. So if you're pre-med and you're really wondering about those opportunities, this is definitely a great place to be.
Thank you. All right, Jenny, tagging you in this one. So if a student has committed and has received their living learning program placement, is there any additional steps or actions needed for them at this time?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions about this. This is a question we often get because I realize it's not super clear. So once a student commits to UMD, and if they're already placed in an LLP, we assume that they're coming to UMD and to honors. So there's no additional step to confirm with honors. Really, submitting the preference form is kind of the yes, I want to pursue honors. Students can change their mind and let us know, but in general, we're going to assume that yes, you want to be in honors. So there is, if you want to live on campus, you do need to submit the housing and dining form. If your program requires you to live on campus, which is another question, the ones that require are ACES, the cybersecurity program, ILS, the life sciences program, and IBH, the business honors program. Those three require. Those students still need to submit the housing agreement because we require you to, but you also have to say, yes, in fact, I do want to do it. So yeah, you need to submit the housing form, you need to submit the confirmation, and then the next step really is to register for orientation. But there is another question in here about if you've already submitted and accepted to honors program and submitted the housing application, do they automatically connect? Automatically by us, yes. So we get a list of the students who are confirmed to UMD and to honors and which LLP they're in, and then we provide that information to the Office of Res Life so that the Office of Res Life knows where to place students. So if you have confirmed to UMD, been placed in an LLP, and you submit your housing form, we are going to notify Res Life, and they are automatically going to place you in those residence halls. So there's no additional steps for you to complete.
Thank you. You covered a few of those questions. Thanks. Okay, next question I see is regarding Gemstone. So the question is Gemstone still located in Ellicott Hall? And does it have AC yet? So yes, Gemstone is still located in Ellicott Hall. And no, the building does not have AC. One thing that I will note, we don't have a Gemstone person here right now, but one thing I will note from what we always hear from the Gemstone students is it sounds daunting coming into it as far as like not having AC. But a lot of the students actually say that it helped them find friends because it forced them to leave their leave their doors open. They also the lounges, the public spaces does have AC. So a lot of them would congregate there. And so we've heard over the years that Gemstone students actually end up kind of like appreciating that because it forced them to come out their comfort zone and it forced them to kind of go into these spaces to be able to meet people. And so, yeah, so that's kind of that. Okay, are there any events held over the summer for incoming honors college students? Yes, typically, yes. So typically, yes. We will usually have a couple different programming events over the summer. I know sometimes some of the programs do their own programming. Like I know ACES may have like a meetup or something like that. So that's to be determined on the programs. At the honors college level, we do like a first gen Terp. So Terp Zone is our UMD's bowling alley, which is so cool. It's like this whole floor in our student union that's like it's a bowling alley. They have like pool tables, they have like a chill area, a concession place where you can get snacks, gaming area. It's just a nice little place to chill at. So we do hold several events there for the Honors College over the year. But one over the summer is for first gen students to connect. Okay, also for studying abroad. Okay, so is there an opportunity for study abroad in for the DCC program?
I'll
Um,
just say that, sorry, right now there isn't one, but we just talked with the associate director for DCC recently, and I know she said that it's something she's working on. So it is something that DCC is hoping to add in the future. But of course, as mentioned, there are lots of study abroad opportunities for students. Um, all students at the University of Maryland campus, so you don't have to do one through your program specifically. Brenda, since you were in DC, did either you study abroad or did you have friends that pursued study abroad programs?
So I didn't study abroad, but I did have friends that did. Most of them did do it their junior year. And because GCC is like a 2-year program, I didn't really see any people do study abroad while in GCC.
yeah, that's actually pretty typical. Usually we'll opt to do it junior year. Yeah. Um, all right, so I understand that there's a career center at the university. Does the Honors College have one as well? So yes, there is a career center at the university. The Honors College does not have a specific career center. However, each program, like I said, that each program has its own faculty and staff associated with those programs. And within that, they do their own type of advising for their students, which could range as far as like the type of advising they do. Ariel can talk about ILS, how they do like they help pre-med students with that. And then we also do a lot of collaborations. Like, so our student groups within honors, I know we do several collaborations with the Career Center over the years for professional development opportunities. But Ari, I'll leave you to talk about ILS specifically because I do know they do something very specific for their pre-med students.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually just wanted to also touch um, just on the whole aspect of one of the most amazing things I think about the Honors College is that academic advising. And so actually there was a question also was what was one unexpected benefit that you found from joining the Honors College? And I like to always share this little anecdote about how my first semester of freshman year, my parents didn't do their undergrad in the US. I'm the first person in my family to pursue any type of pre-med kind of route. And that's a very daunting, that's a very difficult task for anyone, especially if you don't have that background with you. Um, so coming in, I was kind of searching and reaching out to find those support centers, and I ended up actually having 4 different advising meetings across the entirety of campus. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but it gives you so many different perspectives and so much really support and guidance when it comes down to it. So I had one through ILS. So Jayla is our associate director. I meet with her all the time, an amazing person to talk to, and a ton of wisdom from her. I had another one with my CMNS, so that's the College of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Computer and Natural Sciences office with my academic advisor there for classes. I had one with our HPAO department, which is the Health Professionals Advising Office for my pre-med and pre-PhD path. And I also had one with a different associate director in ILS and with my peer mentor. So having that support within the Honors College, I think, I also saw a question about international students, is another huge, huge benefit for me. I know, and it really supports everyone who goes through it.
Thank you. Um, also, I saw a question about changing majors. Is it difficult to change a major? It's not difficult to change a major. It depends on like what you're changing it to and how that correlates to what you already have been doing. But if it's comforting to know a lot of students do decide to change their major, they'll come in with an idea of what they want to do, and maybe after taking a couple classes of something else, they may decide, change their trajectory of what they want to do, which is absolutely fine. That's what college is for discovery and to try to figure things out. So it happens quite often. And as Ariel was talking about, the advisors are so critical at that point because they can kind of help you, kind of guide you to what makes sense, or at least give you options about these are the things that can happen, and then you would have to choose, which route you think you want to, what's best for you. Okay, so what is a typical class size for an honor student? Because I have been talking about we have small class sizes, da da da. So, Brenda and Ariel, if you could talk about, because you're in two different programs, so they can kind of hear from both sides. What has been the average class size in your honors classes, and can you compare that to the rest of the class that you have?
Yeah, so I can go first. So in DCC, the first semester was obviously like an intro class. So it was a class of, I want to say maybe 50 students. It was all of us in one class. And it was just like getting to know each other, knowing the basics of the program and stuff. And then once like the semester moved on and we went on to the next, then the classes became really small. And those classes were max 15, minimum, maybe like I had a class with it was just 8 of us. And it was really, really nice because we were able to really focus on our individual projects and ask our instructor or professors any questions. They had a really hands-on approach. And so they knew our projects like inside and out, and they could help us with whatever. So that was really nice. But yeah, so like in the beginning, it was pretty big, but then towards the end, it's very, you have a lot of opportunities to have one-on-ones with your instructors and your professors.
Yeah, and I agree with all of that. And I think that one-on-one with professors, I know that's something that's very important to me as a big thing for me in high school to really make that connection with my teachers. So going to university, especially a public one with, 30,000 plus, students, you really don't expect to have that same approach to education. Um, so last year, I had to take genetics as part of my biology program, and it's actually genetics is actually offered through ILS. So there's an ILS specific genetics course. So a lot of my friends who aren't in ILS, were telling me about, hey, we're in this huge lecture room. It's like 250 kids. You never see and really talk to the professor unless you go to office hours. Um, and the funny thing was that it was so starkly different from my experience because for me it was a class of 70 kids. It is in a much smaller classroom. It's not a huge lecture hall. We would actually have questions, and people would raise their hand and come up to the board and do practice problems. And then afterwards, the professor would stay after and talk to us. So that's a really special aspect of something like the Honors College in Maryland that you don't really expect coming in, but you get a ton of it coming out of it. And I'm going to be TAing also for cell biology through ILS next semester. So, that's just another portion of making those connections with your professors and the impact and the experiences you get out of it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Okay. Let's see. All right, so housing stuff. I just want to get Jenny into these. Okay, so for university honors, are you guaranteed placement in Pyeongchang or Johnson Whittle? And are those specifically for honor students?
Yeah, I'm going to answer a couple of housing questions here in a row. For university honors, if you are in UH and you submit your housing form and confirm by the May 1st deadline, then yes, you should be placed in one of the heritage community buildings, which is Pyeongchang or Johnson Whittle. Those dorms are not only for honors college students. Most of the beds in those two buildings, I believe, are for UH students, but there are some other non-UH students who live in the building as well. And then there was a question about, I hear that people move off campus. What's the deal with that? Does everyone move off typically? How's the housing market? I can't give specific prices because it's going to vary based on, whether you live in rent a room in a house somewhere in College Park. That's going to be your cheapest option. All the way up to, there's many levels of apartments. There's lots and lots of apartment buildings right off of the University of Maryland campus on Route 1. And then some students certainly live further out as well. So it's not a cheap market. So housing in this area is expensive. I think, and Ariel and Brenda, correct me if this is different from your experience. I think that most students probably live on campus for their first 2 years, and then some students are going to stay all 4 years if that's what they choose, and then some students will start to move off, and certainly some students start to move off after their first year as well. So it's a personal choice. There are also, I'm sorry, Ariel, you mentioned you're living off campus. Are you living in one of the campus apartments?
Yeah,
No.
so I'm
Okay.
living actually, like in one of the private ones, but I have a ton of friends who, went through, 2 years in a dorm or 1 year in a dorm and then commons. We also have suite style, which are really nice. I go all the time to my friends there. It's really, really fun. There's a ton of options, really. And a lot of people stay here. And, as opposed to a lot of commuter schools, I think we're very much on the lower end of that. Weekends, people are here most of the time. So that's also a really nice touch.
Do you want to go ahead and address that? There was a question about, can anyone speak about the out of state or international? I mean, I don't know if either of you are out of state or international students, but your experience with the halls on the weekends.
Yeah, for sure. I can start first if Brenda, you want to go after. But for me and ILS, we always had a ton of fun on weekends. It's a good time to decompress and relax after a lot of a lot of classes during the week. And almost always there's people around. I can't think of a weekend where, most of my friends weren't there and we wouldn't go and get ice cream or we would go and play outside on the Plata Beach and, have just a ton of good times. Um, yeah, I remember when I was going through the application process for colleges, a lot of times, you hear from students of, is it a commuter school, is it not? So kind of to reiterate that, I think an important part of it for me was that social aspect, especially on weekends, to have a community, and you definitely get that here.
I unfortunately did not really spend that many weekends on campus because I had a part-time job. But from what I've heard, people say it feels the same as during the week as it does on the weekends. There's a lot of people always walking around. There's a lot of stuff to do on campus as well, especially because I've spent all of my time at UMD living like on the south part of campus. There's a lot of stuff to do on the south side. Lots of like places to eat, lots of places to hang out. But yeah, you can find stuff to do, and people are always looking for stuff to do on the weekends, I'm sure.
Thank you. And then tagging you guys right back in. Um, I'm gonna try to double up a question or two questions into one so you guys can tackle those. So the first one is, do students struggle to find a place or connection within the honors college program? And the second one, Ariel, you've been answering that one, but did you find any unexpected benefits that surprised you when you joined honors? So if you could talk about those two. You.
I can go first. Yeah, so kind of again, going through that. Um, that's I think one of the other benefits. You come into college. I didn't have a ton of high school friends coming in to Maryland to begin with, but to live together is a really special part of of the honors program to begin with. So to struggle to find a place or connection in the honors program, I think is you know something that is kind of at the core of what the honors college is all about. It's really about bringing people together through first and foremost through your specific program that allows you to really make those really deep connections and share these moments of hey, we're studying together because we're already together. So a good example of that is the common rooms. So kind of like Chantel was saying about gemstones and their common rooms. ILS is very much a similar way, and I've heard of almost every other honors program being a similar way. You all have the same exam, right, on a given day. So so everyone is together in a common room. Everyone's teaching each other the concepts. Everyone's, collaborating about, oh, what's going to be on the exam? What questions are we going to find? So that's really special, and that's again another thing that you don't expect coming into college. Having 50 people in a common room just talking about an exam coming up, and having that real community around you. And even now, not living in La Plata, I see those people all the time in my ILS specific classes, and we hang out all the time. So really, really special.
I would have to say the same thing as well. I also came into UMD with no, like not knowing anybody that I went to high school with here. Like nobody I went to high school with came to UMD. So it was a really great opportunity to like meet people. And again, like the common rooms in Prince Frederick were really great. They were huge and we would all like spend a lot of time there and just like, talking about our day, talking about our classes, because again, DCC is a really like it has a lot of diverse students, so people were having very different majors. Like we would have like biology majors and like government politics majors like myself, and just it was like a huge melting pot. So we would all just talk about what we were studying, and it was really interesting to see. And it was nice to know people outside of your major as well, because I feel like sometimes you can be um, comfortable with just knowing people that are, in your vicinity in your major. And DCC definitely gave me an opportunity to talk to those who were studying different things that I was.
Thank you guys. And just even piggybacking off of that, because those are kind of organic connections that you guys are making. Each program has their own co-curricular programming that they do to make community. That is literally the goal there. And pretty much each program, for the most part, has someone designated within their staff to focus on building community for that program. So there's going to be um, established like set programming or opportunities for students to connect within their program. And then obviously the organic ones that happen when you're coming out of your room and like talking to people in the common areas and stuff like that's going to happen. So there's plenty of different ways to get connected. Um, and it's really what the student makes of it. I always tell students to kind of like, this is the time to step out your comfort zone. So even if you're a typical like reserved person and introverted, this is the time to kind of just like step out and talk to people and make mistakes and learn about yourself. So again, the opportunities are there. It is up to the student to take it. And this is the time for them to try to do that. And just a side note, if I see a student that is like off to the side somewhere, I typically will bother them. So um they'll either find it or they'll be forced to find it. So it'll be fine.
Also, to make a comment to that, actually. So, for ILS specifically, I can talk mostly about that. Is we just had an ILS formal this weekend, which I was unfortunately unable to go. I was coaching a soccer tournament down in UNC, but I like all my friends who went. told me it was an absolute blast. Like they had a great time. Um, and you know, a lot of these programs have these things in place that we had a pool party at the beginning of last year. We have the peer mentor program in ILS where we have, you know, two upperclassmen basically have a group with about three freshmen who come in to kind of mentor them through entering the college. Um, we also have, um, you know, the CLC, which I'm a part of, which is our Community Leadership Council, which we actually plan all those events and plan the mentorship process. So there's really so many ways to get involved and find other people that is more than just randomly bumping into them in the hallway. And they really do make it a big thing to, you know, have a good time because that's equally what college is about as to, you know, make sure to get good grades um, and get a degree.
You. And I hate to grab you again, Ariel, but for the next question, if you want to become a doctor, which honors program would you recommend? That's a loaded question.
Yeah,
Which
that
doctor?
is a loaded question. That's a loaded question because realistically, you know, it's always a thought that maybe it's easy to think you know what you want coming into college, but I think it gives you so much. There's so many things that you experience in college that gives you a new perspective into what you want to do and who you are. So my first line of advice for people who come in any pre-track or anything predisposed in their mind of what they want to do is first of all, you know, come in and have that goal in mind, but know that it's something that's malleable and something that you are able to change. The other part of that is, and I think to kind of shift away from being a doctor, I think this applies to every single person who comes to the honors college is go through, and that's what I did because I first of all thought, oh, I definitely want to do ILS, but then I actually went and looked at every single website for all the different programs. So I'd say like if you're a parent, have your kid go and look at every single one of them and look at the curriculum, see what they offer. Um, I have friends who are in biology and joined ACES, which is our computer science specific one. I have computer science friends who are in ILS. Um, you have so many different ways to integrate what you love and not just what you want to be at the end of the day. We all have things that we enjoy outside of our major or outside of what we want to do with our life. So I'd really, really push and recommend to not think about it as this is what you have to do and this is where the best place for you is, but rather every single one of those programs will give you a huge advantage and a huge opportunity to grow as an individual. So I hope that that answers the question overall.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so can you speak more? I thought so too. Can you speak more about the honor citation and the benefit of that? So, for those who didn't hear during the presentation, an honor citation is what is notated. It's a notation on the student's transcript after they've completed their their honors curriculum, which the curriculum per program is about 15 to 18 credits. And each program has their own designated classes, so they do not cross over, they do not transfer across programs. But anyway, so at the end of that, they earn an honor citation. So we say that as like a benefit, but I would love to hear from the students as far as like um how, instead of saying the citation itself, but like how has honors helped you professionally, if at all?
Yeah, I think with GCC being a 2-year program, I definitely felt like a sense of accomplishment after finishing it, and it gave me confidence going into job interviews, knowing that I had like my DCC citation under my belt, and that I did accomplish something already, even though I would bring it up in a job interview, but it's not like my end all be all, but it's still nice to have it. Do you know what I mean? So just having that and knowing that I did these courses that were specific to this program and that I can't find anywhere else and that I completed it, just made me more confident in my skills and my abilities and what I can bring to a potential internship, a job, etc.
Yeah, and I think another big part of those interviews and those applications um, is the recommendations. And recommendations in college is something that's tricky always because, again, you have so many people here. How do you navigate finding a professor, creating that connection with them to really, make them see who you are? So, sitting in front of in the front of the class gets you so far. So, having really that's those small classes where you get to talk to a professor, where you get to raise your hand and answer questions. And then, the assistant director of ILS, for example, is a professor of our cell biology also program. So, cell biology class, which I'm going to also TA for, because it all connects, which is really nice. There's a constant connection that goes from start to finish with the advisors and with the staff and the honors program, which I think is a really, really special um, advantage that you don't see, especially in a big university. And beyond that, I also found that really when you look and you send your resume and you have honors college, Maryland Honors College under it, there's weight to it. It's not just another thing that you have on there. There's weight to it, and it means something to a lot of internships that you're applying for because there's um, there's a kind of history of what those students have already brought to the program that you're applying to. So I think both of those aspects are extremely beneficial as you prepare to move into a professional realm.
Absolutely. Um, and even being like outside of professors or faculty, um, as far as like recommendations goes, that's why it's so important to get involved across campus because staff, depending on, who your staff is, they can write recommendations for you as well. And because the honors is so small, versus the rest of the university, we have such a tight-knit community that we all know like our students, if they are engaged within this community, they are known. And that's a good thing for them because then we are able to um help them out in those type of ways, help them with different connections on campus. I don't know how many recommendations I recently wrote in the last couple months from just students that I've had to engage with, or I had the pleasure to engaging with, because they were in multiple organizations within honors. So it's really like there's so many opportunities and the benefits of it. Again, it's like what you make of it. All right, Jenny, I'm about to tag you in for a couple. I'm seeing some about living learning programs and switching.
Yep. So there's a couple questions. One question about switching programs now prior to starting, and then a question about changing after the student has started. So first, I'll address the one before enrolling at UMD. If you've received an invite, for now, that is the program you can expect to be in. We do have a process. Students just need to email us at honorsadmissions@umd.edu asking to change. Full disclosure, we do not expect to be able to make any changes until after May 1st. We always invite more students to every program than we actually have space for, knowing that not every single student will enroll at the University of Maryland, and those are very carefully calculated. And we also try really hard not to over-enroll any program because we want to be able to support the students in the program. We want to make sure we have beds in the building for every single student in that program, et cetera, classroom space, So if you are interested in changing, please email us honorsadmissions@umd.edu, and we will respond and let you know that we have your request and you will hear back from us, but not until after May 1st. So that is a question about changing prior to enrolling at UMD. Also, a follow-up question to that is often like, oh, well, don't I need to be in the dorm for the new program or whatever? Again, we communicate that with Office of Resident Life. So if we make changes, we know if we've already sent the list to Res Life. So if we haven't sent them, no need to notify anyone. We just give them a correct list. If we've already sent the list to Res Life, we make sure we notify Res Life about that. And we also know what the drop dead deadline is for Res Life, after which they're not able to make housing assignment changes. So we work really close with them throughout the summer. The next question was about, can a student switch from his or her living learning program after a year if he or she decides to focus on a different track? First of all, I want to, I actually wrote down this quote. I want to highlight what Aria said. And he said, integrate what you love with what you want to be, which I love that. I'm going to use that, Ari. So your living learning program does not have to be related to your major, right? It can be something completely different. It can be the same. It does not have to be anything. So my recommendation is, if you're still loving your living learning program, even if you change majors or change your focus, great, stay there. There's there's no need to change just because your major changes. But we do have an opportunity for students who are in a living learning program that decide that it's not the right fit for them. We have a transfer application for students at the end of their freshman year. So usually in March, April-ish of their freshman year, there is an opportunity for students to apply to change programs. And if approved, then the student can decide if they, we'll let them know, yes, you're approved to switch to this program, and they can decide yes or no whether they want to. If they switch programs, they will start the new program over. None of their coursework from the first LLP first year will transfer over into the next one, because as Chantel mentioned, every single program has a unique curriculum. Nothing will transfer in to cover courses. So students would start the new program over in their sophomore year with the next year's freshman cohort, because all of our programs are very cohort based. But that is an option. And every year we have a small number of students who do pursue that option.
Thank you. So I see a question in regards to merit-based scholarships for current students. So the Honors College, we do have a couple opportunities for students to apply for some scholarships that are for honor students throughout the year. But the biggest pool I would say would be you can check out your academic college. I know on their website, they'll usually tell you whether they offer scholarships for students and how to go about being eligible for that. Also, there's a scholarship office on campus, a national scholarship office, where we always recommend our students to go check out that office to talk about like what their interests are and what options there are out there so they can start planning for that. During the presentation earlier, Jeannie briefly went over a few, like a scholarship slide that she was talking about. So that most of those scholarships, if not all, were housed through the National Scholarship Office. So a lot of our students are very successful when it comes to applying for those. So there's multiple ways for scholarships. And also, like Ariel mentioned, we have a listserv that we send out weekly that also has even external, internal scholarship opportunities for our students. So we try to push as much towards the students as possible. And then they can, sometimes it's information overload, not gonna lie, but it's there. There's like more opportunities than there's not. So you just gotta look at it and actually check your email. Always recommend students check the emails. But yeah, they're there. Okay, next question. How would you respond to a student who is nervous about coming to the school due to the size? And how does the honors program help? I know you guys kind of have been alluding to that throughout your experience and what you've been saying, but to specifically say, I guess if you're coming from either a small school or maybe you're just more of an introverted person and you're like, this is very overwhelming this school is big, as we know. How has the Honors College, if it has, helped you navigate that?
Yeah, I think I touched on that a bit earlier. Just regarding that those small class sizes with professors. So it's less of a daunting thing when you run a bit late to a class that's in a huge lecture hall of 250 people. So that makes it much nicer when you walk into a room and you see faces you know. I think Jenny was talking about how there's really a push, and there's always a director or associate director of each honors program to really create that community within each honors program. And I think that's really true because now I can tell you each time I go into any of my ILS classes or even my non-ILS classes and see ILSers, I can tell you each of their names, really one by one. And to, again, to really reiterate the fact that we have 31,000 students on our campus, and to be able to really see similar and familiar faces across class after class after class. Or to come back to the dorm and see your friends be right next to you, and just be able to say, "Hey, you want to go somewhere?" That's special, and it's something that makes it feel much, much smaller. And I think that's even elevated with the fact that we have stuff like the First Look Fair. So at the beginning of each academic year, we have basically every single of the thousands of clubs on campus line up on our main mall, which is McKeldin Mall, and they have booths, and you go around and you talk to people, and booths that look interesting to you and clubs that look interesting to you. You talk to the people in those clubs, and you write your email down, and they'll start sending you emails, maybe too many emails sometimes. And eventually, you go and you find what that club is all about, and you meet people in that club, and you make those connections, and that's how you make friends. So that was something that was definitely worrying to me coming into college with so many people here. But trust me, once you're here and once you find and know who you're with, it makes it so much better and makes it much, much less overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that DC's the Honors College gives you the opportunity to make friends immediately, like once you get on campus with the people you live with, but it also makes you more confident in venturing out and making friends outside of DCC because like you'll always have those people as well. So it's just about like creating pockets of like places where you can go, and DCC is just the first one. And it's a great one to build because again, it's so diverse. You're in close proximity with each other, and those friendships can last you all of college or maybe that semester or the time that you live with them. But again, it's totally up to you. And the freedom in that is really liberating, especially in college when you are making like so many choices and decisions and navigating life. I think having people that you know and you're comfortable with from the start, semester one, is really, really helpful with that and that transition as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. And then even on the subject of community and stuff like that, let's back up and talk from uh the students now that are committing, finding that community with their roommates. If y'all could talk about how do the students, there's multiple ways, but how do students find their roommates in their chosen LP? So I'm gonna let you guys talk, but basically if a student does nothing else, if they just complete all the steps they're supposed to do with us, and they do nothing else, they will be automatically placed with another person from their program within their designated resident hall. Again, they're not obligated to stay there. So unless you're in ILS, IBH, or ACES, but like let's say you're in honors humanities, so their home is Anne Arundel Hall, which is where me and Jenny are. But their home is here in Anne Arundel Hall, and they live upstairs. But let's say one of their, a student from honors humanities is coming here and their best friend is not in honors. They have the choice to select their or preference to live with their friend in another resident hall. So that's an option for them. They don't have to stay here, but they would have had to do something in order to do that. If they do nothing else, we will automatically place them with another student in their program. But I know there are other ways that students go about choosing their roommate or trying to select it. Did either one of y'all want to talk about that? If y'all may have done it, like using Roommate Finder or anything like that?
So for DCC, we had to live in Prince Frederick Hall, I believe, the first 2 years, but I think that's changed now. And
No, not
then
required. Recommended, but not required for DCC.
right. And then so I had a random roommate my first year, and I think it went pretty great for me. We're still friends to this day. And I don't know, I think for that, I just I just trust that the universe is gonna do what it has to do, and it worked out for me. But I know a lot of people who just met up before like moving in, and they just became friends through like Instagram or something, or like they followed each other through like because they knew that the other person was going to DCC. So I think like you can leave it up to chance like I did and it worked out for me, or you can also put it into your own hands and like find people. But yeah, I think that just depends on the person. It depends on the program as well.
I love this story so much. This is the college story for me. I I accepted ILS and then I decided to enroll in Maryland. And I was looking for a way to really find people and it gets very difficult. So I was going on the Instagram page, which I'd highly recommend all of your kids, or if your kids, your students, follow the Maryland. It should be 2029 now. That's crazy. It's 2029. But follow that account and you should see people posting slowly, like, hey, this is my name and this is my contact info, and kind of finding that way. So I couldn't find ILSers, and it was really, really difficult to find. So I actually scanned all of the posts on there where it would say like, hey, I am joining ILS. So, and then what I did was I'd take all of their Instagrams, like their actual accounts, and add them to a huge group chat. And I was able to find like 40 people and like gathered like 40 people into a huge Atlas group chat that I like made myself. And then what we did actually, which was really fun, I think someone asked about summer activities. We actually wrote in that Instagram chat, I wrote, hey, like I'm going to Maryland Day. Maryland Day is something we have in like kind of late spring, I think coming up soon. Um, and I'm just gonna go. Like I'd love to meet some of you. We're gonna be in a cohort together. And we got like 15, 20 people of our cohort to go together and we just started talking. And I met this one guy who, I was like talking to him, like, hey, do you have a roommate? He's like, no, do you have a roommate? I was like, no, let's keep in touch. So we were kind of writing and we were basically kind of set on like being roommates. But I was like, okay, like maybe there's someone else out there. So let me go on the roommate finder. So the roommate finder is another way of doing it. That's the Maryland way. You kind of put in your preferences and you search, and then it'll list you with people specifically from your LLP. And 100% match came up. So like, whoa, 100% match. There's a way to basically like text them on it. Um, so so I text him on it as I'm texting the person I met, and he texts me back. He's like, "Hey, did you just text me through the roommate, like the roommate finder?" Turns out that the person that I was talking with, in person was the same person I got 100% match with. So it's just a very funny story that we tell all the time, and we're great roommates, and we're still really, really great friends. So yeah, definitely do both. I'd recommend and be proactive about it. It's better to do it earlier rather than later, to make sure you find a roommate. Yeah, that's my little spiel.
That is so cool. The universe, it always works itself out. So yes, I did see somebody posted in here. Maryland Day is coming up. It's April 26th. If you guys are interested, you're more than welcome. It's busy, busy, busy here, but there's always something to do. So more than welcome to come here and check out campus if you're able. And then let's see. All right, so I saw a question in
I
regards to
think it's me.
after. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, let me do this.
Okay.
There's a question about, are there any updates with regards to funding for any programs due to current political situation? It's a very good question. I will say that the University of Maryland is watching everything very closely. There is a University of Maryland Office of Government Relations website. I will put the link in the chat for that, so you're welcome to check it out. It's there. It includes some letters from the President Pines, the president of the University of Maryland. It includes a list of the various policies, executive orders, and everything in the university's sort of understanding of those and how it impacts the University of Maryland. So if you want to know what is happening, that is the best resource, and that is also where we're getting our information. So far, nothing that I am involved in or aware of is directly affected, but definitely something we're keeping a close eye on. I also wanted to address, there's a question about how are the professors for the Honors College selected? This is an interesting question. I'm not sure that I've ever gotten this question, but usually they're looking for experts in, whatever specific subject, because as you've heard, we have lots of different types of courses, and a lot of them are very unique courses that are only taught within the particular programs. So they might be folks who have been teaching at the University of Maryland for a long time. They might be brand new teachers because curriculums are changing and things that people are studying are changing. And so oftentimes you want to get the most up-to-date information. And so people who are fairly new professors are going to have that experience and have the ability to teach those specific topics. And then also some of our programs also hire adjunct faculty from who are industry experts. So folks who are specifically working in industry and are able to teach the specific course that that particular program wants to teach. So wide variety of those the professors for our honors program. And then one other question really quickly is a housing question about flex doubles in the Pyeongchang and Johnson Whittle rooms that are designed as singles made into double rooms. And is it more likely than not that a student will be in a flex double in one of these buildings? I think this question is going to depend on our enrollment for the fall, which right now is unknown. So the university guarantees housing to every incoming freshman who submits the housing form on time, which means they're going to find space for those students. So if there are more students than spaces, then yes, those flex rooms are going to be made into doubles. The university occasionally will turn some rooms into triples, but they really, really try hard not to. A couple of years ago, I think the campus significantly over-enrolled, and I believe they tried really hard not to do triples. There may have been a very small number, but the flex doubles are there as an opportunity, is available to the university to use if needed. But it depends on enrollment in the fall, which is unknown at this point because we have not yet really reached the enrollment confirmation deadline. Sorry, and then I'm going to also keep going. Good question about are students with disabilities supported in the honors programs? Yes. And also I want to share the university's accommodations and services website, which is where students who need accommodations, housing, academic accommodations, etc. Students should definitely fill out this form. And then for housing, the accommodations office will say what accommodations the university needs to provide, get that information to the Office of Resident Life. The Office of Resident Life will make sure that student has the accommodations they need. So I think that's everything that I said I would cover.
Thank you. Excuse me. The last question I see, before we go into that, we have about 10 minutes left. So if anyone who has any final questions, you can go ahead and put it this is the time to put that in the Q&A now while we're wrapping up. The final question that I see right now is, which is a good question, how do these cohorts, so how do the students within the programs, when they're coming in, stay connected after they've completed their program requirements, which is about usually 2 years? That's a good question. Brenda, I know you're done with your DCC curriculum. Can you talk about how is DCC still integrated, I guess, into your life? And like, do you feel like you're still able to be connected with your program?
Yeah, so I followed like the DCC like Instagram and stuff like that, and I still keep in touch with some of my professors and instructors. I recently had one of them actually write me like a letter of recommendation, and they always have like the DCC Council. They always have like events that are going on, and they're always welcome. They always welcome people who are DCC alums, so people who are in DC right now that are already received their citations, but still are students at the University of Maryland. They always have like s'mores nights or like pizza nights, movie nights, and stuff like that. And they're usually always held at Prince Frederick Hall. And again, I live on South Campus, so that's pretty close to me. So whenever I have the chance or the time to, I definitely pop in once in a while, and I see all my instructors there. And it's a really nice time, and people in my DCC class as well, they go. So that's a really nice way of being connected with them, and I really attribute that to the council. They do a lot of work behind the scenes and always have events going on and stuff like that. So
Go ahead.
I just want to say, like, a big part, and I think this is emphasized a lot, but I think it's emphasized, a lot once you're here, and maybe not enough once you're thinking about applying and coming here is that even after your citation, you're still an honor student. So your involvement with the honors college does not just get cut off after those 2 years. Like a citation is not like a goodbye, like see you later. It's not like kind of a commencement thing. It's a, hey, you finished your classes, like you graduated from this program, but you're still part of it the whole time. So the level of how involved you want to be is completely up to you. And I think that's a really neat thing because it's always an option that isn't always like constantly around you. So, like if you're part of like your program's community leadership, so you meet, monthly and you meet with your subcommittee like every other week and you plan events. If you're a peer mentor, you come back and talk to freshmen who are just coming in and help them through what you went through. You go to the events. So again, I think it's a really important note that coming into the honors program, yes, it's 2-year programs in quotes because you're still an honor student the whole time. You can still take honors classes and you're still part of that community.
I was also going to thank you guys. I was also going to add because RLY, you're in your second year right now completing it, but next year you'll be TAing with Dr. Kramer for cell biology. So that's also a way to stay engaged and help out with your community. So exactly what they said, it's kind of what you make of it. Their opportunities are there. And then also you can always be an honors ambassador your whole time while you're here, like they are, and stay connected with students within your program, across programs. So there's, like I said, there's so many ways to stay connected when you finish your curriculum. It really is up to you and how engaged you want to be, but the opportunities are endless there. All right, so that looks like we've answered all the questions. That's awesome. Are there any final questions before we close? While I'll wait for that. Just to end things, if you two can just, I guess, because some of these students, some of them have committed, and some are still working, trying to figure out this is what they want to do. And I know their families are trying to gain more information about that. So if you could think back to when you were kind of in their shoes and you were kind of exploring your options, what was your ultimate decision? Like, what was the factors that you were looking at, and why did you ultimately commit to UMD?
So I chose UMD and I chose this program because I wanted to take full advantage of like the college experience and I wanted to be immersed in all the things I could. And I just thought that being in the honors college was a great opportunity for me, especially as a first generation student. Nobody I knew, nobody in my high school, nobody I grew up with, no one in my family went to college. And so I really just wanted to take advantage of my time here, especially because I'm also on a full ride on a scholarship. And so that made my decision really easy as well. But being part of the Honors College, I just thought it was a great way to see what university is about. And I also have a younger brother as well. And I wanted to join this so I could like let him know what this experience would be like and if that would be something he would like and just to like share my experience with other people. And yeah, I just thought it was the best decision for me. I had a really great time in DCC. And I really think that it helped me and helped me gain confidence in myself and my skills being in DCC and getting my citation my sophomore year. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of thought put into where should I go and what should I do and which honors program once I decide on Maryland. Um, I think at the end of the day, coming here, seeing what Maryland is like, seeing the people that you get, uh, you know, to meet the people that you're planning on being involved with. I think that's what did for me, and it's the resources that they bring to the table, and it's the experiences that they'll help you navigate, and then what it'll help you achieve. And I think all the Honors College check marks every single one of those boxes. It's an opportunity to meet professors and really leaders in industry. It's a chance to meet people from every walk of life who have similar, hobbies of you as you and similar interests as you. It's a way to really create a community of really close friends with such a, large group of people at UMD and really making that big college experience a small, community, in a really special way that kind of balances, I think, almost perfectly, which is so difficult, the academic and the social sides of what college brings. Um, and I think all of that combined is why I'm here, and I think it lives up to the billing every day, and it's the reason, that you can really succeed here, is the bottom line. So 100%. Oh, there's actually a question that I think I almost like coincidentally addressed, but does it feel overwhelming due to its size? I don't, it's hard to gauge. I think each person comes here with their own, opinions and their own feelings and their own background. So it's hard to say for each person. For me, I know that coming into a place that on paper has 31,000 people again, like it feels like a lot and you don't know what to expect. But the minute you're here and the minute you're navigating this campus, you come to realize that you come to realize, why you came here. And I think you come to realize that you love it here because of the people that you have here. At the end of the day, you can know a million people, but your friends will be, a much smaller number than that. And it's about those connections that you make with those small group of people, that makes everything a lot more relaxed and a lot more condensed. And that's why it's really nice. It's also not a metropolitan, right? Like, so it's like not a city, right? You're not in a city. It's like beautiful green spaces that are open, which gives you a lot more space also, which I really enjoy. Like right now, it's beautiful here. It's all the trees are blooming and it's green. I love to go inside McKeldin Mall. So I don't think it feels overwhelming. I think at the beginning, freshmen will always feel a bit overwhelmed, but you come and understand how to deal with it, and you make those friends that help you out.
Um, Ariel, I think the question is also about like the actual size of the campus and
Okay.
probably getting around campus.
That's no, that's very valid. And yeah, I know we don't have a lot of time. I tore my ACL while last year, and I actually for 2 weeks I had to hobble around on crutches across campus. And we have a fairly large campus. So you know, in your mind it's like, oh my God, this is impossible, but you kind of feel and you come to understand that also, like, hey, this is manageable. And most of the classes, depending on what you're studying, will be pretty condensed to a certain area of campus. It's built in a way and structured in a way that sciences are based in one spot, and the social sciences are based in another spot. So being on crutches is not something I'd recommend on this campus, but you've come to find those places that and where most of your classes will be, and you find those studying spots. So, it's a bit of an adventure to navigate campus when you first come here for those first maybe 2 weeks, but afterwards, it's really fun to have so many opportunities because of the amount of space we have on campus.
I remember when you interested, I felt so bad because it is a lot of walking. But you got through it, so thank you. Now you can have a testimony. But one last thing I do want to say before we end, just to wrap like advice up, is you do not have to come here with the answers. Do not be afraid to ask questions. There's literally going to be resources for you every which way, whether they're your peers or staff or faculty. And we are literally here. We want to help. So like, do not be afraid to ask any questions that you have. There's whether small or big, it'll be okay because it will be overwhelming for some. And you may not know who to go to or what to ask, or, you don't know what you don't know. But just talk to people, be open to learn new things, be flexible. And like I said, don't be afraid to ask questions. I did this is being recorded. So for those who were asking, it'll be available on the website maybe in a couple of days. If you want to see something prior to that, we had another family webinar a couple weeks back that's on there. So you can check back on that one if you kind of want to look at the presentation right now and or hear some of the Q&A that was happening there. And then this particular one will be available in the coming days. And then also, if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to email us at honorsadmissions@umd.edu. Thank you all for joining us this morning/afternoon. We hope you all had got your questions answered, and we hope to see your students in the fall. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Aria and Brenda. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.